It's Wednesday, July 21st, 2021. We're finally getting around to our Invincible review. John Cena is back. Some other news and rumors out of comic book. We're featuring the fans. We got new Patreon folks. That's the Giggler. I'm Logan. This is Mostly Superheroes. Hello and welcome to Mostly Superheroes, a weekly pursuit for the world's best stories with an emphasis on live-action superhero stuff. I'm your host, Logan, back for more here in the studio, St. Louis, Missouri, for our one-year anniversary since we started the pod. Ladies and gentlemen, the Giggler.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to us. If you're looking at the screen, we got a cake.
I love it.
It's not a real, we don't have a real cake yet, but Carrie threw us together a cake. Happy 1 year. Andy, you had a good point. We talked about like the 1 year recently on the pod, like 1 year was coming up. This is the official 1 year since our first episode. For us in real time, it's this coming Saturday. But if you're listening right now on Monday or even Sunday, it was just this past Saturday on July 24th since we published episode 0, The Prelude.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that one?
I forgot it was a 0.
That's right. Me and Adam did the prelude. We did like I think we did, that might have been the Iron Man episode.
Yep.
And it was right here. We had our one table. The shelf was here, but there were like none of these decorations. We had those crappy little mics. The cameras were like super, super fuzzy.
There's a lot more going on now. And it looks better, sounds better. Just is better now.
Yeah, man. How are you? You had you said a full day of golf and now you're here.
Yes, it's been a great day. It's my vacation week.
Yeah, this is what you were saying last week. Me and you are leaving for a bachelor party tomorrow. We're going on a flight. By the time you hear this, we'll be back and probably need some rest. We'll be in Denver. And but you took extra days off this week just to have extra fun.
Someone asked me to play golf on Tuesday, so I took off work. And then I was like, well, I'm not going to just go to work for just Wednesday. So I obviously took off Wednesday too. And there we go. Did
you do what PC Mike was talking about last week? Take off the Monday?
No,
or you're gonna go back to work?
I'm gonna go back to work. Our flight's so early. I'll have time to recover. I'll be in bad shape, but
yeah, we're back in St. Louis by like 1.
Yeah, I gotta get back to work ASAP.
Well, yeah, man, glad you're here. Yeah, happy 1 year to you, to me, to Carrie, Mike, to the show, and to the fans that have been sticking with us, man. We got fans that have been listening pretty close to about that 1 year mark, and I looked at the stats today. Andy, we got listeners in over 55 countries.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll give it up.
I can't even name 55 countries.
I didn't even know some of the countries. I was like, oh, I'm getting to the point on the list where I can't pronounce the name of this country. But yeah, 50, I think it was like technically like 59 people listening around the world. We had a big spike in France a couple weeks ago. Hello to our French friends.
Thank you all.
That sounds really close to French fries.
I love them both.
French fries, French friends. But yeah, man, good to be here. And we got a lot more coming for you this year. And with that, let's go and talk about the people that come and see us every week, the fans.
Fan mail.
We got a few things on fan mail, but first of all, always a reminder to call us at 754-CALL-LOG, our in-studio phone. It's right here. It's hooked up to the gizmo, to the mixer. Andy, just so you know, if you ever want to call someone from within the studio.
Okay.
I haven't brought this up in a while, but see, look, I got the doohickey. It's just a little adapter.
Wow.
And you plug it straight in. You could literally call up anybody you want. We call your parents, friends of yours, your job.
Okay. If people keep dodging us telling them to call this line enough, then I'm just going to call them directly.
Ooh, I like that. And we could call from this phone number too. Yeah. So we could get like very radio talk show calling. We could do some prank calls.
Oh,
I don't know. We'll see. 754-225-5564. But we have some big news, folks. A brand new Patreon patron. That's right. Dan P. just subscribed. He took the hero tier on Patreon. That's the $3 a month. Let's just give it up right now.
Attaboy, DP. Thank you.
Anybody ever call him Dr. Pepper? This is a friend of yours.
He loves Dr. Pepper, so we should call him that.
We should call him
DP.
DP.
We call him, he's a man of many names. DP, Danny Frat. He's one of the frattiest guys I know. So.
He's got a lot of nicknames. He's like our boy PC Mike.
Yeah,
he's got
exactly.
a handful of those. So yeah, man, Dan P, you kind of gave me a teaser. It's one of those things where you're like, oh, someone's going to join Patreon. I'll believe it when I see it. Well, man, I saw it, man. He came in, joined this week. What does this mean? We got folks on Patreon. You get a lot of stuff with Patreon. First of all, you can subscribe for as little as $1 a month. And what you're going to get is exactly what Dan here got for the $3 a month tier called the Hero. You get early access to episodes. So that means every Sunday you get the episode. The rest of the world gets it Monday. Not only that, but you get the included pre-show or post-show, or if we include any of the break when we're breaking down something that didn't make it into the show, you get the full cut. Plus they're ad-free, so we have ads in our public episodes. Patreon folks, no ads for you, and then you do get behind-the-scenes content like sometimes we do fresh instant reactions for new weekly episodes, or if I see a movie, I'll get onto a solo reaction, usually 8 to 10 minutes. You get access to all this, and Dan P., welcome to the club. Thanks for supporting the pod. All the money that we get on Patreon goes right back into the show, helping us with hosting fees, equipment, upgrading everything from the look and the feel, the quality. It all goes back into it. So thank you so much, Dan. Wanted to give a special thank you to you.
He is a great man.
You vouch for this guy.
Yes, very much so.
Well, I also gave him kind of a bonus thing. I messaged him, told him thanks. I was like, hey, listen, you name a title, we'll talk about it on the show. And maybe we could do have him call in. He could be a part of the convo. But either way, Dan, you get a little special feature.
Let's do that.
And you'll probably see him between now and then. So you talk to him. Maybe you guys can come up with something we can talk about. You can check it out, too, on Patreon. If you're interested in subscribing, supporting one of your favorite independent podcasts, just go to mostlysuperheroes.com/Patreon. Couple other things on fan mail. We're going to come from the Twitter world, feature some new fans. We actually had a new follower just the other day. She's going by the name Harleen Quinzel. Love it. And her Twitter handle is I am Harleen Quinn. You can see this on our YouTube channel, our Facebook video. She DM'd us and said something very sweet. She reaches out and says, you guys are so chill and wholesome. I love it. Keep doing what you're doing. You're amazing. Thank you, Harleen.
Wow. That's one of my favorite things that anyone's ever said to us, ever.
It's a pretty good compliment.
I mean,
I don't want to
100%.
say I don't want to say we're going for wholesome, but I feel like we're trying we cuss sometimes. I always say this, we're kind of between PG-13 and
Yeah.
R. We say the F-bomb
They
when
just slip out.
it's needed.
You just can't help it sometimes.
It happens.
We all understand.
I'm not anti-cursing.
Same. I also don't need it.
I mean, fuck
to live. Jesus.
I had to say it.
I didn't expect that.
I know. That's our one F-bomb for the episode. So there you go. You got it.
Right.
Harleen, now she's going to unfollow us and be like, you guys aren't wholesome anymore. You've changed.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely going to give her a follow because that's awesome. What
Absolutely.
A great compliment.
And you should go give her a follow. It looks like she's a big fan of the Suicide Squad, obviously, with that name. But she's on Twitter at I am Harleen Quinn. Appreciate the message. And more from the Twitter world. This is actually kind of cool, Andy. I threw out some thoughts on the movie The Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson. We just saw it. We just reviewed it. It's all at the Mostly Superheroes site. mostlysuperheroes.com/MCU. And I threw out some thoughts on Taskmaster. So spoiler alert for Black Widow. All right. If you haven't seen it, we are going to kind of talk about parts of it that you might not want to know about just yet. And I threw out this tweet. People online are really talking about Taskmaster. It's was it a letdown? Was it not? How do people feel about this reveal? So I threw this out there. I wanted to give our thoughts on this character. First of all, I said best MCU suit. Truly cool. I really do believe if it's not the very best, it's definitely top 3.
I said that last week.
We thought it was the best part
near
of the character.
That and Black Panther are near the top for
Black Panther's awesome. You're so right. I also said bad live action interpretation. Huge letdown in terms of shown abilities, and very related to that, lukewarm reveal of the identity. And I said this, no, it's not because it's a woman, because people are really coming after people online for this. It's what, because it's not a man? No, I said because I didn't care about that character in the movie at all. I just didn't care about Dreykov's daughter. Andy, what do you think?
I completely agree.
What were your thoughts on Taskmaster? I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but take it
one of the
further.
coolest looking you could ever possibly hope for a character. I remember we were looking up at movie posters at the theater last week or whenever that was.
Yeah, whenever we saw it.
And I noticed that one did not have a name on it, and I was like, I actually haven't even thought about that. Who's playing this person? Like, it's just odd that it's not common knowledge.
Yeah, and they have their own episode poster. They're featured like this in the trailer, right? This big badass character. Like, the suit was cool, but just like,
yeah, I just wanted more out of that.
Wanted more. I think that's where we stood. Okay, well, here's the exciting part. Someone on Twitter, I called this person semi-famous. It's Robert Liefeld. For you diehard comic book fans out there, you'll know that this guy is the creator and author of Deadpool and Domino and Major X and a lot more of other folks. He responded to my tweet and said, completely disagree. Great representation of Taskmaster, threat, and abilities. Didn't go to see a Taskmaster movie. Went for Black Widow. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Pretty cool. Quote tweeted us and gave us like a whole bunch of people like chimed in on this conversation. It got into a little Twitter battle.
I'd like to read that. I didn't know this.
You should. There's a lot of comments, a lot of responses. It's definitely like our longest Twitter thread we've been a part of.
Well, thanks to Robert for...
Oh, man. Yeah. Really appreciated showing a small indie podcast like us a quote tweet. I mean, this guy's got all sorts of diehard fans. But I didn't want to leave him hanging, and I did respond and said that's fair. Although I would argue that when a character is portrayed in the trailers to be a major part of the story, you expect them to play a major part in the story. Personally, I felt that while the fight scenes were cool, it didn't feel like I saw a lot of that copycat component that we talked about. So, of course, we saw Hawkeye. We did see Black Panther. I didn't bring that up in the last episode when we talked about the movie. He did. But you know what he did? He just, or she, now that we can say that, had the claws.
Okay.
And like that was it. Just went shing. And then the shield, Captain America's shield, of course. But other than that, I just didn't see a lot of copycat. It was just kind of boring.
Yeah, I just got to give it another watch and see. Give it another, and kind of maybe focus on things like that.
Yes. I don't want to make this about like dogging on the movie because I'm not. I enjoyed the film. We both gave it good ratings, and we said in that rewatch it'll be good. It's just this one particular thing. I think even when I rewatch this, maybe I'll be slightly more impressed by Taskmaster, but just not. I don't know if it'll be that much.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Fair enough. Rob Liefeld, man, really appreciate that. You can follow him at Robert Liefeld on Twitter, and you can see this again at Facebook, YouTube, if you're watching us on video. And with that, let's talk about some news.
News and rumors.
Couple things in the news. We did talk about Loki, the series, season 1 on Disney+. We've got the full review happening at our MCU library as well. And of course, as Disney+ and Marvel Studios has been doing for WandaVision, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and yes, now for Loki, there is a Marvel Studios Assembled, the making of Loki. So this is the behind-the-scenes look, 1 hour long. The other ones for WandaVision and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I thought have been really fun. Definitely got me more energized about the show. And after breaking down that amazing finale during our breakdown last week, I can't wait to see this thing. You know it's going to be great. And it just dropped today, actually. So it's on Disney Plus today, Wednesday. If you're listening on Sunday or Monday, it's there waiting for you in Disney Plus. Andy, have you heard about this? Have you seen it yet?
I have not seen it yet, but I was looking for something to fill the giant Loki-size hole in my life. So this will do.
And
curb me over till one more week.
Did you see the other ones for?
No, actually, I keep forgetting.
Andy,
I know. I don't know how I haven't watched them. It's like the week after the show each time, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm just so emotionally like drained by it. I'm like, all right, I need a break. I'll watch this before the next show comes out, and then I just never get on Disney Plus to like search or browse ever.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
It's I know what's there,
and you hit a dead end pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Unless there's like a whole fleet of new stuff, which is very rare.
Exactly.
You know what we haven't done in a while? Like what's coming the next month.
Oh, yeah,
we might need
to do that.
Might need to do that for like, I don't know if we'll make August. But we could maybe next week.
We'll see how many brain cells we have left.
Yeah, we'll see. So yeah, you go check it out. Marvel Studios Assembled, the making of Loki. You can watch that now on Disney Plus. Definitely wanted to let you know. And Andy, I'm going to let you tell us all about this one. I can see you, but can we see this guy? He's returned, and my first question is, from where? So talk to me like a guy that wouldn't own this beautiful belt that you gifted us. John Cena returns.
That's a tough one to answer. He's been gone for so long. Like it's been almost it's been a year and a half approximately, I guess, without him on WWE TV, which is a long time. Like he's definitely a part-timer that
Right.
is only on a few times a year here and there, like only for like the big shows, like around WrestleMania or Royal Rumble, things like that. And he's just been gone doing movies for so long. And
Right.
I still think that's his long-term plan. Like, look at, he's got the Peacemaker show, obviously that finished filming and everything, but
That's
he
crazy.
has more projects that he's in line
Yeah,
for. He's
I
in,
just saw him yesterday.
oh yeah,
I'm going to be talking about it in a
okay,
second. I'll let you keep
good,
going. But he's out here making stuff heavy.
He's all over the place.
Yes.
He is a
But he
great man.
still does the wrestling, like you said, part-time, so he's just showing
It's
up.
this is his biggest gap. Like a lot of people were thinking, is he really done now? But I obviously have not watched a lot of wrestling lately. It's been months. And I was intrigued because the Money in the Bank pay-per-view was this Sunday. I already had Peacock, so I just turned it on, see what was going on. Because Money in the Bank has fun like ladder matches that
What's Money in the Bank?
it's like one of the pay-per-views that's probably in the top, like one of the probably 5th or 6th like biggest one of the year.
Okay, so
So there's like ladder matches, and they have like
Okay.
this briefcase like at the top that people have to
Right.
get. And when you get the briefcase the next year, sometime you can cash it in at any time, 24/7 for a title shot against the champion.
Okay.
So
And couldn't you do that on the video games too?
yes,
I feel like I remember that like on N64 or PlayStation maybe, like climbing up and trying, and your wrestler's like trying,
yeah, it looks so stupid.
trying to hook your hand.
But
Okay.
but yeah, so he makes an appearance. So that match finished. It was just after 10 o'clock, and there was all hell breaking loose. Like there was all these different feuds going on. Big E won the Money in the Bank briefcase. He's a great guy. He's from the New Day. If you don't know who they are,
I don't. Remember, you
we'll
get
get you
there.
educated on them someday.
Okay.
They're good people, and also in this industry as well, because they
Okay.
have like a video game / nerd podcast as well. So
It sounds like we get along.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So Roman Reigns is talking after the match. He's the current SmackDown champion, and all of a sudden, John Cena music hits, and it was 10:30 at
It was
night.
like the end.
I was tired as hell, but
No one knew.
this awoke me.
Oh my god.
This awoke something inside of me.
You jumped up on the
that
couch.
yes.
Did you get on your feet, or were you just on the edge of your seat?
I was on the edge of my seat, and I
Okay.
just said, yes!
I'll give it up.
I was like, what?
People had no idea, huh? You didn't.
No, no one had any idea. I was not expecting this, but I'm excited.
Unbelievable. So, and then while he's there, he did a throwdown. I mean,
yes, they are going to have a match at SummerSlam.
so it's a future. It was a promotion.
These two guys
This was-
on the YouTube that if anyone's watching right now.
Yes. Oh, there's a lot of people watching.
Oh, I know. I see.
Oh, yes.
I see those subscribers.
That's right. What I tell you, 50-something countries around the world. Man, this is awesome. So John Cena, he's back again. Does this mean he's back more often, or he's just like coming back to this next event and then you'll see?
He's committed for a match at SummerSlam, which I think is next month.
Okay.
And that's like the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. So he might disappear again after that. But
Well, he's got
this is better than nothing.
He's got more shows. We know a lot. This guy's busy.
Yeah.
He's in blockbusters right now. But man, John Cena making it happen. He's back. Andy's excited about it. I'm sure PC Mike is as well.
Yep.
Keep us posted on this upcoming match, and we'll talk about it.
We will.
All right, next up, wanted to feature an area that we haven't been in a while. We finally get a break. Like I say it like it's been such a bad thing from the MCU, man. Like we just had so much Marvel stuff. It's been crazy. Really nice to just bring up something totally unrelated. Not totally unrelated. Still a Disney property. Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series, the Star Wars series, bringing back Ewan McGregor. This is an article coming out of Comic Book. Cameron Bonamolo, really appreciate it. And this is talking about a few things. This article is specifically talking about a younger version of Princess Leia being cast, and it's by this young actress, Lyra Blair, Vivian Lyra Blair. We have her image here with her Instagram on the video. But what I want to take away from this article was they talk about the timing of this TV show. And this has been a big question. When is this Obi-Wan going to live? It's going to be obviously Ewan McGregor's version, which he played them in the Clone Wars. So this is pre-Vader days, young Anakin days. When was it going to take place? Well, straight out of this article, they had an interview that, again, this is from Cameron Bonamolo, and the interview was with, let's see if I have this here, Star Wars Cooper. Oh, Jordan Mason of Cinelinx. So he was quoted to say, Obi-Wan Kenobi begins 10 years after the dramatic events of Revenge of the Sith, where, oh man, this is awesome, where he faced his greatest defeat, the downfall and corruption of his best friend and Jedi apprentice, Anakin Skywalker.
Wackle. Skywalker.
Anakin Skywalker turned evil Sith Lord Darth Vader. Like, oh my God. So this is 10 years after I have the high ground. You were supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them. That whole scene, the epic fiery battle. Oh my gosh. So, and then, oh man, go ahead.
6 episode. That's
6
just
episodes.
Information that I like to know.
This is coming out 2022. And you know what else was in here? We're getting a rematch, essentially. We're going to see a Obi-Wan Darth Vader battle that, like, basically is taking place within this, like, time frame.
Really?
Yes. It's going to be, like, a rematch type thing, you know, because they fight, obviously, in A New Hope. And, like,
that's wild.
And then we know they fight in Revenge of the Sith. This is going to be, like, a middle fight of the middle of their lives. And also getting young Skywalker twins, Luke and Leia.
Yes. That's really cool. I'm excited. That's something I kind of forgot about. It's on the back burner with all this superhero stuff that we have, and I'm sure it'll be very good if it's anything close to Mandalorian.
Exactly, which Mandalorian is not in the deck, but I think it's filming.
Yep.
Season 3. I put a tweet out about that, man. I am truly excited for that, and you're so right. This is that universe. If they can do that like they're doing this, I wonder if they can. Here's the thing that I'm scared of. We all know these characters. You know, these are characters that we're familiar with. Will it feel a little cheesy? Will it feel too little too late? The Mandalorian, man, special because we don't know this character. And I don't know, him wearing that mask the whole time is kind of like it's made a different kind of show that you've never seen before. So Will it all perform? TBD. But either way, we're excited. Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's coming 2022. On Disney Plus. We'll keep you apprised as we're doing it and as we're finding out more. Wanted to let you guys know that if you're listening to this right now, I always say that like because me and Andy are live. This is in the future for us. It's in the past for you. Comic-Con in San Diego taking place. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of announcements that we're going to talk about on the next week's episode. So hopefully we'll hear some stuff this weekend. We'll obviously be traveling for for a bachelor party. But when we get back, we'll take a look at what announcements came out. Maybe we can finally get this Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. Maybe, I don't know, maybe some other trailers for stuff. You just never know with Comic-Con. Sometimes there's just big announcements that happen.
Is that where your bachelor party is going to be? Comic-Con?
Man, maybe that's an idea. That's a real idea, right?
If anybody did it, it would be you.
That'd be like all I want to do is the 3-day Flash Pass Comic-Con deal.
We're just gonna wait in line together all day.
All day. You're gonna watch me get autographs, take pictures. But this happened July 23rd through the 25th. There are like at-home edition stuff, so they're still kind of doing the hybrid virtual. If you want to like get on, see if there's any stuff that you can check out, just Google San Diego Comic-Con. It just took place. Be ready for what's happening with that coming up next week. And this is like a maybe on my list, but just even if you're in the area, if you live in the Missouri area, there is Planet Comic-Con Kansas City. This is coming August 20th and 22nd, 2021 in Kansas City, Missouri. I say that. It could be Kansas City, Kansas. So they're right next to each other. But our boy Scott told me about this one, asked me if I wanted to go. And here's some names for you. You know, you got Stephen Amell, plays the Green Arrow. He's going to be there on Saturday. Misha Collins from Supernatural. Andy, I wanted to see if you knew this wrestler. Christian Cage. Is that someone that you know? That's like a wrestling person?
Oh, yeah.
Billy. What's the guy from Karate Kid? Billy Zabka.
Yeah.
Kevin Dillon from Entourage.
Johnny Drama.
Which is hilarious because in Entourage, he is like a
Viking
sci-fi
Quest?
actor.
Yeah.
Viking Quest, yeah. And then there's also the kid from Stranger Things, the kid with the weird teeth.
I like that. I would go. I'd love to meet Stephen Amell.
Gaten something. Yeah, this is really tiny writing. But hey, man, maybe we'll go. I told Scott it's a maybe. August 20th, 22nd. Mark your calendars. Planet Comic-Con, Kansas City, just to keep you apprised with the Comic-Con world.
Yeah, I would love to meet Stephen Amell. Huge wrestling fan.
Yep.
He's about to be on a show called Heels on Stars that's coming out very soon. That's a wrestling show, and he's obviously plays a superhero as well. So really the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's a mix. That's a nice mix for you. Would you go for like a day trip to KC? It's about 4.5 hours for us driving wise. And Scott talked about like doing a day thing.
I've never done anything like this, but I'm always down to try. I am out of town during that, but
Yeah, the only one I've been to was Wizard World, St. Louis.
yeah, I'd like to go to one someday for sure.
Well,
Maybe we'll just
but
have our own freaking table at one someday.
Well, I know Jock Nerd guys, they tried doing that, and then the pandemic obviously got in their way. They got it pushed or something, and that's a really good idea. Get most of the superheroes set up at one of these things, get a booth, maybe pass out some T-shirts, or I thought it'd be cool to put our podcast on CDs and pass out CDs. and they have to go figure out where to play it. Like, does my car have a CD player?
I like that.
But anyway, maybe we'll check this out. But the Wizard World one, I was gonna say it was fine, but I think I told you I saw like Lou Ferrigno there, and it wasn't like cool. It was kind of like sad. Yeah. And also, who's the guy from Night at the Roxbury, the short guy, Chris Kattan.
Kattan, yeah.
Like he was like grumpy about being there. It seemed like. And I mean, I don't know. You're just in a big like multi-purpose room, and it's
I bet they are.
It's like $60 for a selfie, and I'm like,
they don't get paid a lot to do these things.
Well, no, it's $60 a selfie.
Yeah.
They might pay him like Lou Ferrigno might have got like what $1,500 to come for the day. I don't know.
I'd take that.
But I don't want to. But Stephen Amell, it's hard for me to picture him having a bad time.
Yeah, I agree.
So maybe we'll do it. All right, let's talk about what we're watching.
What you watching?
What you watching? That's what we tell you what we're watching, what we're reading, what we're looking at each week. We want to hear from you. You can join us at the Mostly Superheroes Squad on Facebook. It's free. It's exclusive. And then once you're in, it's private. So you can comment away, share your posts. We get discussions in there about stuff we're watching. We talk about what we're watching. And me and Andy have a few in here. Andy, you're going to go first. We're kind of going to do a little back and forth. Why don't you tell us about this one? I believe it's a true story. And it's on Peacock, and the title of this thing is Dr. Death. Tell us about it.
Oh, man.
Tell us how it's going for you.
So, yeah, this is on Peacock. Obviously, YouTube viewers here will see this main character. Looks a lot like Charlie Conway from the Mighty Ducks, or that guy from Dawson's Creek that I can't remember his name.
And that actor's name is...
I'm looking it up right now. Joshua Jackson.
You did a really good job naming things he's in, though, because everybody immediately was like, okay.
Yes, Joshua Jackson. But yeah, he plays the main character, Dr. Dunch.
That's I guess his real name, Dr. Dunch?
Yeah, so I guess this got big through a podcast where that story kind of got out, but he's a doctor in Texas that basically a lot of his surgeries, he does like spinal surgeries, and a lot of them like have ended in people either dying or becoming like just basically worse off. So it's like a question of like, how is he allowed to keep practicing? Is he doing this? And there's a few doctors that are like investigating him. One of them's played by Alec Baldwin.
Yep.
And it's just kind of, I don't really know where it's going right now. We have a couple episodes left.
And also, I don't know what character he plays, but I just saw him in another story like this, that Dirty John on Netflix, but Christian Slater.
Oh, yeah.
He's in this, it looks like, right?
Yes. He's one of the doctor with Alec Baldwin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
sorry to cut you off. I was just
I
was so curious about his character.
That's another one. Yeah, that I know there was another guy I couldn't think of. But yeah, I don't really know where it's going right now. I don't know if he's like doing this on purpose, like it's incompetent, or it's incompetence, and he just is really bad doctor. But
yeah, because like you said, there's a whole podcast about this guy, so you don't know how it ends. I love this. This is exactly like the Dirty John thing. That was with the podcast. It was about real people. I love this. Dr. Death, Peacock, and how many episodes have you seen?
I think there's 6 total. We've seen 4.
Okay.
Sure. Let me double check that. I got the Wikipedia.
And when you're watching on Peacock, do you have are there ads?
Not the one we have.
You guys have the premium.
Yeah, I guess so.
Peacock Plus or something.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, that's your roommate. Way to go. Yeah, all right. Not dealing with that. Yeah, Carrie actually talked to me about this. I think she's maybe either heard the podcast, familiar with the podcast, and I'm telling you right now, after the 2 seasons of Dirty John, I'm hungry for a lot more of these true stories.
Anybody that likes those things is gonna like the show a lot.
This is like a new category. It's like not true crime like in the general sense. It's like more unique, bizarre stories, like very like specific things where you're like, how could this happen?
Exactly. So yeah, there's 8 episodes and we've watched 6. So
okay.
And I mean, it's worth it. I don't want to say for sure. I can't really give it a rating if it's really good or not. But
you don't want to spoil it.
I think
for
anybody that likes that niche is gonna enjoy this.
All right, Dr. Death on Peacock. Andy will keep going. I'm sure it's on our list, and we'll be doing a soft review sometime in the near future, I actually saw a movie this past week. To my surprise, it was not only in theaters, also on HBO Max, where I just had to hit play. It's Space Jam: A New Legacy, starring LeBron James. This is the sequel 25 years later, after me and Andy were just 9-year-old little boys watching Michael Jordan meet Bugs Bunny and thinking, man, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And this movie hopefully was like that for 9-year-olds right now, because for adult me, it was just it was a good movie to have on in the background on a Sunday. It is LeBron James playing basketball with all the properties of Warner Brothers. Spoiler alert for the movie. I won't tell any. Actually, not a spoiler alert. This is a spoiler-free review. It was a lot. It was fun. It was colorful. It's LeBron James as the star of a movie. And
Can't expect much out of that.
I mean,
Terrible, just god awful acting.
dude,
but
I said this on Twitter too. Like, people are like out here like saying this movie's trash, and
But-
I'm like, dude, it's Space Jam.
exactly. I'm
What
not gonna dog the movie like that. It was entertaining.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, there
Yeah,
you go.
we watched it Sunday too.
Oh,
It
wow,
was-
okay.
We watched that whole season. We watched that. We
Do you
caught up on
agree? It was
everything.
just like, it wasn't like you were, oh man, this is amazing, but you weren't
Right.
You weren't mad at it.
Yeah, exactly. Not mad at it is the perfect way to describe it.
I wasn't angry.
Like, I'm not gonna tell everyone my age to like go watch it right now.
I saw people like, Twitter's crazy. First of all, I haven't like been active on Twitter my whole life, and now with the show, I just use it for that. People were like, I'm not one of these stupid people wasting my money on Space Jam. I'm like, okay, I mean, you don't have to like Space Jam. Not everybody likes it. It's definitely like a specific thing. Cartoons like interacting with real people. Who Framed Roger Rabbit did it first. I mean, that was pretty good. That's a great movie.
Yes, it is.
That's more like adult humor. But this was really very much for kids. One thing that did kind of just felt weird. I won't get into specifics 'cause, again, I don't want to spoil this thing. But there were a lot of uses of Warner Brother properties well beyond the Looney Tunes.
Oh yeah, they were
Like
just
like not even
whoring everything out.
Oh my gosh, that's the best way to put it. Just whoring it out. Warner Brothers is the pimp, and Space Jam is the trafficker.
Sometimes,
like
sometimes I couldn't tell if there was like a Mr. Freeze in like the White Walkers, and I couldn't tell them apart. Sometimes I thought they were the same one.
I mean, there was a flat out. I guess I am gonna. All right, I throw in a spoiler alert. We'll talk about it for a little bit. I mean, they brought in like literally the animated Superman, like it was him, and
Yeah.
they put. Was that Casablanca that they put in there?
I don't know.
It was the black and white movie. That's just like me showing you how little black and white movies I actually know of. To where like they're changing out the actual content, like the actual like characters, and replacing them with Looney Tune characters. And yeah, it was cute and it was funny, but it definitely felt a little like, ugh, this is a little dirty. Like they used so many.
I felt like it was just like a giant commercial for
It felt like a commercial.
HBO Max almost. 'Cause
Yes.
I kept seeing people. I was like, oh, I forgot that's one of their properties. So the whole time I was just like, the whole movie, I was like, it's just that's what I'm learning now. I'm not even paying attention to the movie.
That was exactly it. And they were like, you know what we'll do in Space Jam 2? We'll put in every property we own, including Harry Potter. Like everything. Like, man, you're gonna be like, okay. Kids will love it though. It's definitely gonna be a good time.
Yep.
Don't take it too seriously. It's Space Jam 2, and it's like I said, I was surprised. It's on HBO Max. All you gotta do is hit play, but it's also in theaters if you want to see it. All right, Andy, back to you. Want to hear about this thing on FX, one that I watched years ago, fell off around season 3 or 4. Haven't really watched it since, but tell us how it's going with this year's version, which they've slightly tweaked the title to American Horror Stories.
Yes. So that now the show is different. It's tweaked as well. The style is they're like one episode basically of different stories. So like the first one was a 2-parter, and it took place in the murder house. Like you've seen the original one, so
Yes.
you know
That's
like
the first one.
that costume, the
Yes.
latex man. Whew.
The latex sex outfit.
Yeah, super
Oh my
weird. So it
gosh.
gets real deep into that. So I watched a 2-parter. I think they're 40 minutes each or so. Super entertaining. Like it definitely gives you callbacks to like the show. Like this is something I've watched every season of, except for the creepy one where they had like clown, like circus people. 'Cause
Yes.
that one just really didn't rub me the right way.
Yes.
So but this,
Like you were
I mean,
scared of it, or you just didn't like the
it was just
series?
weird. Like there's like deformed people and stuff. It was just
Yeah.
like made me uneasy. I was
Okay.
like, I'm just not gonna watch this one. So
That's fair.
which is fine. I mean,
This is a show
I
with a
think-
lot. This is a show with a lot of variety. Like
Yeah.
they'd always mix it up a lot. Now they're like mixing it up so much episode by episode.
Yeah, they're pulling in like stories and like offshoots of things that we've already kind of seen on TV, but just kind of different versions of it. So, and they're shorter and like it's just easy to kind of throw on.
Yeah, and I like that story by episode being a new story. The Amazing Stories, Steven Spielberg series on Apple Plus is kind of like that. And I loved the American Horror Stories seasons. I really did think I make it to like 3. I think I made it to season 3 or 4 before I just.
Yeah.
It wasn't like even a lack of interest. I just started watching other stuff and never got around to it. But this format sounds awesome.
Yeah, I think anyone that liked the prior seasons of this, they're not going to like every episode, but I think they'll find some that they enjoy. It's on FXX, and which is I guess through Hulu. So, yeah, I'm excited. New one comes out Thursday.
FX American Horror Stories. Go check it out, and we'll let you know how it goes. If we pick it up, I might watch it a little bit more. You might have got me a little more interested in this, to where might be like knowing that it's a 1 episode to part 2 thing. It's like that's not a big commitment, and I could watch 2 and be like, okay, I'll come back to this other story later on.
Yeah. It felt like Spooktober all over again on my Sunday.
You're watching Fear Street?
Yep, Fear Street.
I saw it.
This and Dr. Death. It was a dark Sunday.
Hey, yeah, it's like Halloween in the middle of July, which sounds awesome. We'll talk about all those too. Fear Street. We'll wait for PC Mike for that one. I can't wait to talk about that mega event. And one more, what you watching from my end? Saw this last night in theaters. This will be the last one before we take a break and get to Invincible. Can't wait. And right now, talking about F9, Fast and Furious 9, the 9th movie in the Fast saga. That's really not even necessarily true. There's more than 9 if you count Hobbs and Shaw. I think that's the only one. There's one more extra. So that's it. And went and saw it with Carrie, our friends Jen and Aaron. We went to the Marcus Theater de Pere.
Okay.
I like to plug the theaters because if you're listening locally, I want to know, like, people might want to be like, well, how's the theater? Well, it was pretty big. I had never been to this theater before, so it was kind of like a maze to walk through the tunnels. But they had a great bar inside. We grabbed some drinks before.
Bud Heavies? Is that a Bud Heavy?
Yeah, Aaron got the Bud Heavy. I was drinking Bud Light. We were a Anheuser-Busch commercial just walking around. And we saw F9, man. Vin Diesel's back. Here we are. We got the whole gang. Letty. We're meeting Old Villain comes back. Cypher, plays by Charlize Theron. You got Ludacris in this one, and I mean, he's been in the posters. I can't imagine it's a spoiler at this point, but if you really don't know, I'll say spoiler alert. Han's back, and we know this. He's in the posters again, but like how, you won't know until you see it at all. It's whatever. You can tell I'm already like getting lukewarm about this thing. It was fine. It was F9. It was action packed. There were a lot of big payoffs in this thing. I'll tell you who had the most fun of all was Carrie. She loves these movies. She had a blast. She said it was perfect. She was fangirling out about it. So when we do a big review, we'll do a spoiler-filled review. And Andy, he could have been there, but Andy was too cool for school and just said he wasn't going to come.
I didn't even really have a good excuse other than I just don't want to see this movie.
You were just like, nah. And I was like, all right, okay. I was like, there's a seat right here. No, it's okay. You know what? This is one that you can wait on, and I'm sure it'll be, I mean, who owns this thing? Who's F9? Universal. So actually, I don't know where this will live eventually. This might be a little tricky, actually, because this is like Incredible Hulk territory. Like, you
just have to buy it.
You had to buy it or rent it. But F9, man, yeah. If you've seen these movies, you know these movies. This one's hitting heavier on definitely focusing on Dom, and there's a big reveal with obviously you've seen John Cena in the trailers and the posters. The premise is there's a long lost brother, and the team's got to get together and figure this out. So it's the formula's there. They didn't break away with it. If anything, they got quicker to the action. And yeah, if you are into this, you'll go see it in theaters, or you might be more like Andy. What'd you say? You're gonna wait for this to go to DVD?
Yes, exactly.
Be like PC Mike, go pick it up at the Red Box. That'd be just fine.
Yeah, that's the plan.
But your roommate,
Mikey, will be on for whenever you guys want to have a deep dive on this.
Good. Yes, I want to have him back. I want to definitely get him and Carrie just fanning out, and they can tell us all about it. Because Carrie knew the history of the characters. There was a lot of flashbacks in this movie. This is like a new thing. That was like the newish thing that I was not used to seeing in these. Like,
okay.
To where I don't want to spoil anything. Go see it. We'll do a Fast 9 episode for the meat for sure in a coming episode of Mostly Superheroes.
Is the Fast and Furious saga going to get its own tab on the website now that we have every
Well, there are
single
so
one?
many movies that honestly it might really need to. Like,
Well, we did them all in one. We did the first 8 in one episode.
Yeah, it was
now we have
two-
just this one.
2.5.
We're all caught up.
Oh my god, that's hilarious! 2 episodes, 10 movies.
Yeah.
Hobbs and Shaw. That's hilarious. You're right. Yeah, we might need one. So many of these things, we'll be talking about it for sure. So F9, go. Like I said, it's kind of hard. I'm not gonna like sit here and tell you go see this movie. You have to. But just for the sake of listening to a mostly superheroes episode one day because we're going to talk about it, yeah, put it on your list. That's a reason enough.
Fine, I'll see it.
You will. You'll watch it before the episode, obviously. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're finally getting around to reviewing Invincible. Man, it's been so long since we've seen this thing. Andy and I have been refreshing ourselves on it. We'll see how we do, and we got a little help from the fans. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You've heard others, but nothing could prepare you for the shameful stupidity that is the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Hear Imran,
So if you offend everyone at once, it's a wash. I've covered everybody.
Anthony,
Sorry, I was texting. Say that again.
and Rug Boy
Yeah, whenever there's a snowstorm, my Slack hole tightens up.
as they talk over one another,
Just exactly the same as Jennifer.
Terminator.
We're talking over each other. It's fine.
Sorry.
swear,
I had boobies.
and ask you for money.
Just give us the money.
Witness the hubris as they claim to be the world's authority on comic book movies.
Who said?
Never said that. You've never said that.
Who cares? A jock said that.
Comic book, TV, movie reviews, news, and whatever they choose. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you find your favorite podcasts. The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Campy, silly, goofy fun.
Seriously, people really listen to this.
Jock and Nerd.
The meat.
Welcome back from the break. This is Mostly Superheroes here in the studio with the Giggler. I'm your host, Logan, and it is time for the meat, the chunk, the sizzle. It's why you came. It's why you're here. It's most of the episode. This is Mostly Superheroes after all, and this is a Mostly Superheroes title for you right here. We're talking about the animated series on Amazon Prime Video. It's Invincible. Let's give it up. This show is coming at us from a graphic novel actually lent to us here in the studio, here in person. I'm holding it up for the video so you can see it on Facebook and YouTube. Lent out, of course, by our boy Scott. He's got a great library, so many graphic novels. He swore by this one, said, you got to read this thing. I have not. I've only seen the show, and that's what we're going to be talking about today is Season 1 of Invincible with this all-star voice cast, but by again, from a graphic novel that spans, I think, 15 plus parts. Like, there's a lot of novels. This thing is a lot older than you think. We're going to talk about it. We have a nice fan review from Scott himself that we'll be doing toward the end of our review. But first up, Andy, I want to talk about this at a high level, do some gut checks on this thing. We've both seen Season 1. It's been a long time since we've seen it. It was back when it first came out. You and Mike watched it very quickly. It took me like an extra month to see it. And here we are now, like probably 3 months since then.
Yeah, it's
So
been a while.
It's been a while. I rewatched the finale today. When's the last time you saw any of this? And let's just talk about high level, how you felt about the show at a high level. We'll get into some of our top parts, stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I remember catching on. Someone told me to watch it after they were about 3 episodes in. So we watched the first 3 and we're like, okay, this is, especially after the first episode.
Especially the first
the I know.
episode. And when I didn't give it yet, spoiler alert for the show. Here, I'm going to poke fun at us real quick. Me and Andy haven't seen this in a while. This isn't probably an episode you want to listen to like learn about what happened in the series. It's more about how we felt. We'll give you a review. And I'll tell you this much. It's popular enough to where it's already been renewed for seasons 2 and 3. Got renewed for 2 seasons right away on Amazon Prime. But go ahead. I cut you off. So yeah, you saw this. You heard about it. 3 episodes.
Yeah. So
And then you jumped in. That first one was like,
the end of the first one was just wild. At first I was like,
I think
because I remember someone described it as like a pretty raunchy like show, and we were like 45 minutes into the first episode, and I'm like, am I watching the right show? Like I'm confused, and I almost looked it up, but I was like, in the middle of the episode, I didn't want to spoil anything, so I was like, I'll just write it out, and then all of a sudden, just all hell's breaks loose, and Omni-Man's killing everyone.
Right, yeah. Like we said, we gave that spoiler alert. I think it's like hard not to talk about season 1 without talking about that first episode, right? You're watching that thing. You're right. It feels like you're watching, Justice League or something, some cartoon about superheroes, and then the big ending. Oh my gosh, this Omni-Man guy just murders their version of the Justice League. I forget what they call them. They're the League of something, and he just murks these things, and not just like kills them like it's a cartoon superhero. Like he was ripping their
decimating them.
He's popping their heads, and like their eyeballs are on the floor, and their intestines are everywhere. There's blood just all over him.
It's like shocking.
Oh, it was like,
but in like
jolting.
the best way. I was like, this is effed up that I'm enjoying this much.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I'm seeing a lot of murder right now. Like, this is crazy.
I'm okay with it. What's wrong with me?
And, I mean, just to get into it, man, I mean, this what I liked about this show was that, okay, you get that episode, then you're immediately like, oh, okay, I want to know everything. But this show is actually pretty good just about going episode by episode, taking you through various parts. It's almost like they did a really good job at doing side stories that melted really well with the overarching theme. That's a big struggle that a lot of shows have. You try to, because we'll be talking about The Mandalorian. PC Mike makes fun of all the time. He's like, another mission episode. And I'm like, you have to understand, mission episode is part of The Mandalorian. It's connecting it to the overarching story that is the struggle. I think Invincible, the series, did a really good job of that.
For sure. Like, I didn't expect to get a deep dive into the Robot Man character. And, like,
right.
That went, like, in a direction that I had never expected.
Yeah, you're like, here's a robot superhero. He's definitely part of the team. And then they're like, oh, here's a whole episode about how, like, you think he's a bad guy, but he's actually just, like, in love with this, like, he's, like, taking care of this young girl. And she's
only getting younger.
She's only getting younger every time she turns into a monster. You know who I like? The clone, the two clones.
Oh, yeah.
The bad guys.
Banger Brothers or something like that.
They're just cloning themselves, and they argue about which one's the real one, which one's the clone. I love their character. And another cool thing about this show that you're going to get as an adult that will, like, especially, you know, if you're like, oh, I don't know if I really will be into cartoon stuff, something that helps with that is that there's an all-star lineup of people reading this stuff.
Yes.
And I'm really putting myself on the spot. I hope you have some names pulled up for me.
I literally have IMDb pulled up right now.
So let me go from memory first.
Yeah.
So I definitely know J.K. Simmons, of course, Omni-Man. Glenn Howerton. Or no, not Glenn Howerton. The guy that played Glenn.
I knew that's what you just did.
The guy that played Glenn Howerton is from Always Sunny, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
But the guy that plays Glenn, he plays Mark in the show. What's the actor's name?
Stephen Yin.
Stephen Yin. He does a great job, so you're going to recognize that voice. Give me some others.
His mom's like the lady from Grey's Anatomy, like the Asian doctor.
Yes, Sandra Oh.
Yeah. Yep. Zazie Beetz.
Okay.
Amber.
Seth Rogen's in here. He plays like the intergalactic like protector guy that Mark meets up with, and then he's also like toward the end of the show.
Exactly. Mark Hamill is in here.
Mark Hamill, who's he playing?
Art Rosenbaum.
Man, Mark Hamill
does everything.
Legendary voice actor.
My personal favorite from the whole show, Jason Mantzoukas.
Oh my gosh, he's great. He plays one of the new protector.
Rex Splode.
Rex Splode. Yeah, he's great. Love Jason Mantzoukas.
John Hamm, that's
right. He's in there. I think he's like usually playing like a citizen, just like a regular everyday citizen.
Yeah, he was in 2 episodes. A lot of these other names, that's the big ones we got. For sure.
And I'll be honest, it really did make an impact because like imagine watching like Justice League, but like you got like Tom Cruise in there or something. You'll be like, oh, I can hear that. I can hear the voice. It really was cool to hear. I mean, J.K. Simmons, man, it's like his voice is Omni-Man.
Yes. It's so like I've seen people be like, we want a live action one and like put the suit like on a real picture of him and it's perfect.
Yes. Go ahead.
He's a bad dude. Sure.
That
picture of him like flexing in the gym I've seen recently on Instagram or something.
J.K. Simmons?
Yeah, he is just jacked.
You think he's just
Tomorrow War, look at him. He played
he did. He played Chris Pratt's dad in Tomorrow War. He looked, he's wearing the like tank top, white beater, looking buff.
Yes.
Getting ready for Spider-Man, hopefully.
I hope so.
And
Batman. He's isn't he
Commissioner Gordon in the
yeah.
Snyder Cut.
Yeah, this guy's all over the place.
Hey,
I guess he doesn't know his future in that universe, but
yeah, no, who does? Let's just get into the story a little bit, man. Like this is a cool premise, right? Your dad is basically Superman. You don't find out till later in life. He's 18, he's in high school. He gets powers. Oh, hooray.
Throws trash
a million miles over the dumpster. Gets to quit his job. He's like, I quit. And it's like, all right, my dad's Superman. I'm gonna try to be like him. And I'm just gonna cut at the chase here, because like again, this show is really it's gonna twist and turn you. It's a question of, did Omni-Man kill these people because he was brainwashed? Was he why? Like that's the big reveal at the end of episode 1. The main hero killed the other heroes. Why?
Yep. I just remember while watching it, I was just like, why? Everything, all this other crazy stuff kept happening. And I'm like, well, why?
Yes. What could be his reason? And he's like, you don't understand. You know, he's under investigation by the really cool demon PI.
Yes. That talks like Yoda or something
And
like
I
that.
think that guy's
so
voice,
weird.
I think, is the guy. I don't have if you have it on the IMDb, pull it up. But I believe this guy is from Lost. He played the guy that was in Lost. He's the guy like Desmond's partner in The Hatch. He's the older guy, and he also plays like a soldier in the show. He's in a lot of stuff.
Clancy Brown.
Yes, that's him.
Wow.
He's in a whole bunch of stuff. He's got a very distinct voice, and he's this great demon PI. I love it.
Damien Darkblood. That's the guy's name.
Darkblood, and he's the one that's like, why, like obviously he killed them all is what he's saying, and no one's really questioning it, you know. But this is a very much, when you talk about an Amazon Prime series, The Boys. This is like that Homelander mentality, right? You got the government working with Omni-Man, but they're like, we can't challenge him. He's the most powerful being on Earth. Like, and he truly is. They don't have heat vision, though, right?
I don't remember.
I don't think they
so.
have heat vision. I think it's just like super strength and flying.
He maybe just needs to learn that still. I don't know.
Maybe so. But yeah, the big question is why his son isn't onto him at all. He has nothing until the very end, when one of the heroes from the group of heroes, the League of what do they call
Dude,
themselves?
I don't even know.
Just Google that real quick so I can call it something. I guess I didn't realize how much we'd be talking about it. He comes back at the end, faces off Omni-Man in front of his son. I mean, this is really jumping to the last episode, really breezing through the story, and we get the big reveal. Go ahead.
Guardians of the Globe.
The Guardians of the Globe. No wonder I didn't think of it. That's kind of different. And the big reveal is, man, okay, he wasn't brainwashed. Omni-Man wasn't brainwashed. He didn't do this for some reason to protect his son or his family. Turns out, Viltrum is where they're from. So, like, you know, think about Superman. He's from Krypton. Well, Omni-Man's from Viltrum. They're Viltrumites. You thought that he was here to protect us. He was like Earth's mightiest hero. Well, he says, nope, you're wrong. I came here to conquer, and I'm going to enslave the whole human race to Viltrum.
Basically tells him that his mom is basically like a pet.
It says to his son, Mark, he's like, yeah, your mom is more of like a pet. We live for thousands of years. As we age slower. He's like, you'll be thousands of years old. And Mark's like, you think I'm just going to let you take over? This is a father-son story right here. This is trying to live up to be your dad. Now you gotta beat your dad up.
After that was let's just talk about how gruesome that
Do it. Tell me.
subway scene was.
Yep. Let's just jump right to it. He's like, I'm going to prove to you how nothing these people are to both of us. And how does he do it? Andy, tell us.
So, yeah, he goes down to a subway and basically just, it's oncoming, and he just pours his head into the front of it and just lets it.
The train goes.
Eviscerates every single person in there. You see them literally just explode because they're going head on with a immovable object.
Yeah.
Two superheroes, and the train is just exploding into bits and pieces along with every single person inside of it.
And this isn't like you're not like away from the train watching this. No. They give you the first person shot of like what Mark sees, and what does he see? I mean, he's going through people's like brains and lungs and bodies.
It's so disgusting.
He's covered from head to toe in blood at the end of this thing. You can't deny the fact. This is an adult cartoon. This is the most gory cartoon. I mean, on a major platform, this is the goriest thing you've ever seen. Yes, there's anime out there that would make this look like G-rated. I understand, all right? Don't come after me, anime fans. But I am saying on Amazon Prime, this is wild.
I truly hope no one let their kid watch this just because they saw that it was cartoon.
Well, yeah, you got to set a threshold, or if you're going to watch it with your kid, you got to be like there actively like talking about it. Like, it'd be a confusing thing to see this as a 6-year-old.
Oh my God.
It was confusing for a 32-year-old man to see it. That's me.
I like during that scene, I had to get up and like start walking around the room because I was like
you start sweating,
like shaking. I was like, wow, that is, how did I? And then after it, I'm like, whoa, this is a cartoon. Why is it making me feel like this? I'm like, whoa, that was intense.
Very intense. Yeah, very crazy. But like they also did a good job of like balancing this line between like, okay, yeah, it's gory, but like that's not all it is. Like you get like the episode that I really enjoyed was with the robot man. Remember that guy? He's like the mob boss, and a guy, it's a big black guy. He enlists the help of Mark to take down this mobster, right? And that one like starts off like, okay, this is a mission. He's going to do a mission. And it's very like almost like Justice League mission. Better writing though, better dialogue between these characters. And then it ended up being gory, you know, for the last like 2 minutes. But like most of it was just like, man, I'm enjoying like just seeing what this guy does during the day. I was invested in like the world they lived in. They did a lot of like highlighting the citizens that were living in the town. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I went into this kind of blind other than Scott telling me that he loved the book. Man, I got to tell you, I loved this series.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was so like cookie cutter from like the high perspective, I guess.
Yes.
But like the execution of everything was just, it was something different. They turned something that's like I said, just so cookie cutter that all of a sudden it's not. Like,
yeah, you look at the
it's
cover.
not what I
like,
expected
you look,
it
like
first.
you look at the cover of this and you're like, okay, I get it. There's a superhero.
Yeah.
But you're like, okay, no, there's a lot more to this. I mean, these writers nailed it. Talking about the end of this thing, just to kind of like give us some closure on where the series ended, the season, I should say, because we got a season 2 that'll be coming. I don't know when. And I'm like, with animated stuff and getting, you know, you have voice actors, maybe they can get it together quicker.
Do it.
Either way, the big question here is, will Omni-Man kill his? It's not his. I almost use air quotes. It is his son, full-blooded Viltrumite son, Mark. Will he kill him? Will he not? Beats him to death. I mean, just about. That was brutal. Like, really brutal. That was the part that was like, man, this is hard to watch. Like, he's just bashing his son into the ground. And then the moment comes, and he remembers his whole life of, like, being a dad and a husband. And what's he do? He just soars off. And we don't know where. All we know is he left his post, according to Seth Rogen's character. Mark
Peace out.
ends up healing. And the big thing is, like, Viltrum will come if one of their people has left their post. So that's kind of the big teaser, the big, like, what will happen in season 2. We're going to be dealing with that, I think. Andy, any other thoughts on this thing, major parts that you want to talk about? Anything else on the series before we highlight a very special fan review here in a second?
One of the biggest things I just forgot was the final battle scene where he rips the Guardian in half.
Oh my gosh.
They were duking it out, and it all of a sudden he just
so quickly
decides, I'm just gonna rip you in half.
Just like he gets there, they fight, he comes back to life, and then
it's just so weird because it's like a cartoon and it's just hard to grasp like the nature of what's happening.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
But like at the same time that happened, and I was just like, all right, this guy is unstoppable. Like
unstoppable.
That's what they're trying to get
like,
through your head.
Like he really can't be beat. Like he's unbelievable. That's why he's Omni-Man. And it's almost like the real, again, that real world take on like what if like superheroes were real and you get a bad one. I mean, man, if you wanted to do that, you know, you could. Definitely had some. I wonder if there was some mixing and matching of the writing for the boys and Invincible. You know, because both pretty on point.
It could be, yeah.
Maybe not. Totally different. It might be right.
No, I completely, until you just mentioned it, I was like, oh, those are on the same platform. That would actually make sense.
Right. Like they might be in the same, you know, building or something. All right. Invincible, Amazon original. I think we should definitely rate this thing before the next review because the next review includes a rating.
Oh, yeah. Did we even talk about that Marvel comic, or did you put
No, well, we're going to save that to the end. Yeah, we're going to save it to the end. A little surprise, a little tie-in for you Marvel fans. If you stick around, we're going to talk about it. I'll rate it first, and we'll let Andy go. This is a win for me. Very great season of superhero content, adult cartoon, the right amount of gory. If you're going to watch with kids, be ready to talk to them or cover their eyes. But for adults, you're going to be just fine. I will definitely rewatch this probably leading up to stuff because I was rewatching it today and I was like, oh, yeah, this is so good. Like, you can put this on at any point. Yep. I'm going to give it a solid 3.4.
Very nice. You're right there with me. I was at a 3.3.
All right. 3.3, 3.4.
I think I'm kind of excited for the next few seasons for sure. It's just something different that, like, it's a new perspective that you just don't know about what any potential backstories or what's going to happen. It's kind of just fresh, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Yeah, and this is what I told Scott, honestly. He lent me this book. I've had it in here. I need to give it back. He's probably like, give that book back. Now that I've started the show, I don't know that I'll read it, because like I'm kind of one of these guys where I'm like, if I'm watching something and that's how I experienced it, well, then I want to watch the rest just exactly like you just said, Andy. I don't know what happens. I have no idea. So if this goes for 10, 20 seasons, I want to hear about it and kind of see it play out. All right, let's give a nice review here, man. I'm really pumped to do this. Reached out to our boy Scott, tried to get him on the episode. Yeah, we almost brought him here actually physically in the studio, but he gave himself his own nickname for I told him he's basically our guy in the street because he's always sending us articles, reviews, and Invincible is one of his favorite titles. He called it like Rover on the Road or something like that. I got to check it out. Roadside Rover or something like that.
Okay.
Anyway, he did say listen, I can't make it. He's traveling this week, but I'll give you a nice review for this thing. It's a little long, but really it is worth it. It's better than either you or I did, and it includes Scott's rating, who has actually read, I'm sure, all these. All right, so from our boy Scott, you can get featured just like this. If you have something that you're diehard about, one of our big fans, we'll always feature stuff like this on our show. From Scott on Amazon's Invincible. Excited to hear you guys finally talk about the series. As I've said before, this is one of my favorite comics of all time. I've been waiting for the series to be made since I picked up the first book about 15 years ago. I remember a few years ago this was being talked about as a live action or animated series, and I'm so glad they went the direction they did with the animation, because I'm not sure a live action could have done it proper justice. This really gave me Justice League Unlimited animated show vibe. With a stellar voice cast, this show really scratched an itch for an adult-themed animated action-adventure show for me. You get comfortable at first thinking this is Spider-Man, Superman, Justice League type of story, and what seemed like a fairly run-of-the-mill superhero show gets turned on its head by the end of the first episode. Even knowing what was going to happen, my jaw was still on the floor, seeing it play out in real time. The rest of the series was up and down, but I was rarely let down by an episode. Most episodes, of course, have their slow parts, but all in all, this was pretty action-packed series, plenty of what the F moments, really was exciting. What's really exciting is that the series has already been picked up for a second and a third season, and knowing what happens throughout the comic series has got me pumped up to see what's going to come. Oh, sorry. Lost my place here. Got me pumped to see what's to come and how they adapt it into the series. Season 1 is basically the tip of the iceberg when it comes to content. It only covered about 24 issues of what is out of 144 issues of the series that ran for 15 years. Still mind-blowing that it was 15. It's 15 years old content. I know I'm probably biased when it comes to a rating, but I've got to give the series a solid 3.8. With the action, voice cast, animation, this show fired on all cylinders for me. Can't wait to see more, and it definitely gives me hope that even more comic book properties out there will get the same treatment as the series has gotten. Tons of praise, and there's a vast, untapped wealth of possible entertainment out there. Keep up the good work, guys. Excited to hear your thoughts. That's our boy, Scott.
Well, he's going to hear them. And then he'll hear his own thoughts.
And then you get your own. He's like, that's me. I said that. Man, Scott, thanks. That's really well written. I'm really glad that you give us a well-rounded review like that. And also a rating of 3.8. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less from a diehard fan, but geez, this guy's been reading this stuff for 15 years.
That's awesome.
This isn't something he picked up, right when he heard about it. Like, he's actually known about this. And to think about that. That's like, you're reading Marvel Unlimited comics now. It's like you picking up a comic of a character that no one knows about. And then 15 years later, they finally put it in a TV show. How exciting. Scott, so glad they're doing it for you. Man, we're here for it. Can't wait for seasons 2 and 3 of Invincible, man.
We're always trying to diversify here.
Yeah, that's right. And tying it in, perfect tie-in, perfect timing. Andy, you told me about this right before we recorded today. Here's a really cool mixing and matching of worlds from Invincible to a Marvel property. Why don't you tell us what you came across in your Marvel Unlimited comic book subscription?
Speaking of diversifying.
Absolutely.
So I read this earlier. And also, I don't even know how. We still both try to look it up, and we don't know how this is
how it's possible
this team up or what capacity it is. But Marvel Team Up looks like it was a series that basically just kind of has like properties that are usually not together. So
it's called Marvel Team Up, and this series is called
number 14 from 2004.
2004. Okay, and this is Spider-Man meets Invincible.
Yes.
And you read this one today.
Yes, it's a really short one. I could probably explain the whole thing in a minute, but basically opens
Spoiler
up
alert.
with spoiler alert for this one. I mean, it does a good job too of explaining Invincible's story, which I didn't expect. Which that's kind of cool.
So you get like a because it's a matchup, right? So you're getting like a little origin from each of them.
Yeah, sort of.
Probably not
Because
Spider-Man.
basically it completely starts with just a fight between Doc Ock and Spider-Man. All of a sudden, Invincible gets pulled in from this wormhole and saves Spider-Man. Of course, Spider-Man's like, oh yeah, man, I would have been fine or whatever. So he just kind of talks about who he is, and he's like, oh yeah, somebody sent me from another dimension. He's just trying to like wear me down, basically. Like,
okay.
Going from dimension to dimension. So he doesn't know how long he's going to be on this like Earth with Spider-Man or whatever. So Spider-Man continues to go. They fight Doc Ock. I think
while you're here,
so yeah,
we'll fight some people.
This really cool part where he takes him to Avengers Tower, so you actually see
What?
Invincible with like all the Avengers, and they're like, "Who the hell is this guy? Like,
Oh
why
my
did you bring
God.
him? Why'd you bring him here?" It's just funny. And here's a quote from Iron Man from this comic, which was pretty funny, considering what just happened last week with Loki. Said he always says that, but when's the last time we did something even remotely cosmic? I don't even remember. Does the Kang stuff count? We were in space for a little bit for that. I was just wow, how do they like just crazy timing?
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah, we won't even say why in case like you don't know what we're talking about. But like if you know what we're talking about, that was
exactly.
That's very timely.
Exactly. So
this is from 2004.
So
it's not like it was just written.
He just meets some of the Avengers. Then they're like, oh, Doc Ock's attacking some place, and Spider-Man's like, we got it, and they go. Invincible does most of the work and cuts his like arms off, and then basically gets sucked back into that portal, and it's over.
And this is Marvel. I mean, it says number 14. Like, what is that?
Yeah, so there's a series of team ups, like, but
I see.
I didn't
it's
really
Marvel team up, and it's number 14.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure what the other ones were. I kind of just was scrolling through.
Well, holy cow, man! What a worlds collide situation.
I know.
You just came across it, and you were probably like, "What in the world?" So this is just another big plug. Man, we're plugging. They need to start paying us for this stuff. Marvel Unlimited. This is your comic book subscription program, and this one just came across your face.
It blew my mind. I heard about it from obviously I was doing some recaps on YouTube and stuff, so trying to give a shout out to the
YouTube channel.
New rock stars
on YouTube. You figured this out from there, and then you got to go and read this thing right before you came over. So it sounds like a nice short read. Marvel team up. Spider-Man meets Invincible. Worlds collide, and now I'm like, well, who else do they do in these team ups?
Yeah, I'm gonna do some more research on these
because maybe there's like a Hellboy or something, or like where there's like just totally different worlds. I mean, even like DC and stuff.
I don't know if there are any of them, but I guess that's a possibility.
All right, well,
if
I've been on the fence for a long time. I'm getting Marvel Unlimited. I just decided. I mean, you're having so much fun with it, and I'm jealous of every story you've been telling me about. Every story you tell me about, I've just been like, oh my god, that's
dude.
amazing.
I have some more queued up. The Kang's first appearance, Kang's like biggest run. So I'm gonna do my homework.
So you're gonna read these things and just enjoy them and.
Yeah,
take it like you're not really like when it comes to the MCU, it's like, you know what, possibilities are endless. I'm reading these comics for fun. These stories are, it's kind of like, silver.
It's so cool because most of it's new. Like
yes, like you've never seen it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Marvel Unlimited team up with Invincible. That was our review of the series. Of course, this is mostly superheroes. You knew we were going to talk about it. Seasons 2 and 3 coming sometime in the future. I don't even know when. Do you know, Andy?
Nope.
So we'll keep you posted on when we hear more. Again, it's animated. Hopefully they can throw this stuff together, get it out, and we'll keep you posted. Thanks again to Scott for the review and for the book. I promise I'll get it back to you. With that, let's talk about what's coming up. A lot of things coming up here on the show. A lot of fun stuff. This is a fun one today, man. Talked about some good stuff kind of across the board. Like I said, kind of cool to step back from Marvel stuff for a hot second. Of course, it came full circle, and we talked about it there at the end.
Man. I can't believe it. That's why I said that diversify comment, and I was like, oh, no. I know what the next slide is.
It's Spider-Man, the most worldwide loved Marvel hero of all time. But talking about something outside of Marvel, we are going to still do our DCU rewatch. Got a new DCU page over at mostlysuperheroes.com/DCU. And we did Superman the movie. The next one up will be Superman 2, showing the poster here right now. This is going to pick up with some certain plot points that you did learn about in the first movie. You can obviously see here on the poster some folks. And Andy, I don't want to talk too much about it because you've never seen it before.
I'm ready.
Can't wait to do it. Me, you, PC Mike, and we'll get this review on the books. And of course, I wasn't like I wasn't going to not talk about MCU stuff today. The thing that I'm waiting on right now is What If. So that'll be August, I think, 11th or 12th.
Yeah,
It's one of those.
because
It's either the 11th or the 12th. Why don't you check that out?
now.
What If, the animated series, we're talking about animated stuff today. This fits right in. I did hear, and I don't know if it was during one of his episodes or just on Twitter, but Brandon Davis over at Comic Book, believe it was him or someone at Comic Book, there was a rumor, I don't know if it's necessarily confirmed, and they may have confirmed it by now, so I just know that there's been talk about this, that it is going to be tying into the MCU in terms of like actual ramifications of,
I believe
somebody from like
Tim Hiddleston.
one of the
Tom Hiddleston said
either
this
it was-
on Jimmy Kimmel, I think.
It was either Tom Hiddleston or someone from the Loki team, and then I think I saw like Brandon Davis talking about it.
Yeah.
But either way, people are saying from like the Loki team that yes, What If is going to connect to the MCU. Now, I would still put that in the rumor bucket for now. I don't have
Yeah.
that confirmed. We obviously are we're all both looking at each other like, is this true? Is it
Easily
not?
could be somebody just misspeaking. I don't know.
Or just somebody throwing a.
At the same time, like we just talked about last week, everything, like look at the timing of it. Multiverse
Yeah,
technically just was birthed
yeah.
a week ago.
We just talked about
And this
Loki
shows-
last week. We spoiler alert for that, the end of that, but like the big ending, man, the biggest ramifications of all time in the MCU. I've got it pulled up here on the screen now. Phase 4. These 20-something titles, and Loki ended. Gave that spoiler alert. Multiverse spreading, spider webbing everywhere. Kang the Conqueror, it presumably here. Man, it's gonna be crazy. But in terms of multiverse, Andy, you're spot on. This is going to exist now. And every multiverse, there's versions of everything. What If is just another corner of the MCU. Cannot wait to see how this works. I'm so pumped for this show. I really am.
August 11th.
August 11th. Thanks for looking that up. I cannot wait. It'll be coming to Disney Plus. I didn't realize like how pumped I was for this until like these last couple weeks, and like especially like today talking about Invincible. It's like, you know what? If it's good animated stuff, then count me in. And this is an MCU show.
Did you hear now that they're like doubling down on their animation studio? As of yesterday, they announced it.
Oh, really? So
they're dedicating more resources to that type of stuff. So
well, you know what that means? That What If went well.
I hope so.
It has to.
I can't wait to
right?
see just like what the first one's even about. Like obviously the trailer, we know what's coming, but
Yeah, but they've only showed us a couple things.
yeah, there's 10 episodes, so
And how long are they?
no clue.
These are things that we're supposed to know. So we'll keep you posted. We got a
I don't
couple
think
weeks.
anybody knows.
But there are 10 episodes. We know
Yeah.
that. You would think that maybe 30 minutes?
Yeah, I would say so.
Please. Hopefully an hour.
Yes, please.
I mean, if they're isolated stories, they might be longer.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they got
It's
a
going to be
lot
an
to
episode
cover.
about Captain Peggy Carter. She's going to be Captain Britain. And like that's going to be a whole thing. Like 20 minutes, that might not be long enough, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Other than that, you can check out everything at mostlysuperheroes.com. Really proud of our website. We feature fans on there, video clips from our episodes. You can join the Patreon page. You can listen to the podcast across all those platforms, Spotify, Apple. Make sure you turn on those in-app reminders so you know when the new podcasts are coming. And definitely watch us on YouTube and Facebook. We got video content out there, and it's all happening at mostlysuperheroes.com. You can find links to everything. You can contact us. You can write us in. And we're just going to keep making this show every single week because it's one of the most fun things that I do in my life, hands down.
Same Z's.
Okay, cool. I was hoping you'd agree. We're 1 year old. We've got a lot of fans that are dedicated to us, checking us out. We hope you're telling people about it. If you enjoyed the show, 1 year down and many to go.
For sure.
Maybe we'll have some cake or something when PC Mike comes back.
Please, let's do that. I love cake.
We could do that. You see the picture out there?
Treats.
We don't have that cake yet, so we got to have it. Andy, it's good seeing you today. Anything you want to say to the squad before we sign off?
Thank you for listening. We love you. Be safe. Take a little PC Mike knowledge right there. He always has those little nuggets.
The little nuggets of, it's summer, get out in the sun, have fun, but be safe.
See, look how red I am. I could have definitely used a lot more sunscreen today, but
You're red from the golf today.
yeah, I didn't put any on. So
Well, I love getting in here with each week, and PC Mike will get you back in here. We miss you too. And Carrie will be on soon. We got Fast and the Furious coming up, a lot of DC stuff. the Suicide Squad. MCU's not stopping, and neither is Mostly Superheroes. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Take it easy.